Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Day in History, our nightly look back at a specific day in history, where we take a look at the events of that day, the historic context in which they took place, the historic ramifications of those events, and some people that were born on that day, and some people that died on that day. As always, if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content, and tell a friend. And without any further ado, this day in history, April the 7th, and on this day in 1990, two ferry accidents, one in Myanmar and one in Scandinavia, claimed the lives of over 300 people. The first ferry accident in Myanmar was caused by high winds and uneven weight distribution of the ship's occupants. Of the ship's 240 occupants, over 200 died. Elsewhere, the Scandinavian Star caught fire. Malfunction in smoke detectors and a language barrier dividing the Portuguese crew and the Scandinavian passengers contributed to the death of 110 of the 493 passengers aboard. As always, on these ships, incompetence led to more deaths than were necessary. And some births that occurred on this day. Mitch Daniels was born in 1949 in Pennsylvania. He was the governor of Indiana from 2005 to 2013. Prior to that, from 2001 to 2003, he was George W. Bush's first Director of Office of Management and Budget. He is currently the president of Purdue University, a position he has held since the very day he left the office of governor of Indiana. Daniels has been known for pursuing budget cuts through austerity measures and reducing the state workforce in Indiana. He's known as a very personable, nice person. I saw a video of Mitch Daniels once getting pulled over and getting a ticket that a local Indiana media outlet pursued through a Freedom of Information Act request. And he's just so friendly, saying, "Oh, I was speeding. I'm so sorry." It's quite like, oh my gosh, this person's so nice. He's also been known for his ease of access to university students, working out in the student rec facility, eating with students in the Greek dining halls, in the fraternity and sorority community on campus there at Purdue University. He also sits with the fans during Purdue football games. There's a common feature. They'll flash up on the Jumbotron at Purdue games, "Where's Mitch?" And it'll pan the stadium and try to find Mitch Daniels, and he'll often be seen sitting with students and fans. And from what I understand, that was a very rare occurrence before he arrived at Purdue. Most of the previous university presidents would sit among, in the suite of the president of the university and just take it easy and not sit with the commoners down in the stands. He's also helped lower tuition at the university that had seen rises since 1976. And initially this was just for 2 years, but he's extended it through 2022. He also, in addition to tuition, that's what most people don't understand, is at a university, one of the things that eats up your cost of admission is not just tuition, it's all the other fees that are associated with it. Technology fee, where housing is required. Housing, many colleges now on campus, if you live on campus, you have to buy a meal plan, and other fees, and student activity fees, and just all these other fees that college for a lot of people to be unaffordable. He has cut those fees as well, and quite significantly. I read that he cut housing by 10% and reduced the cost of student meal plans. So he has really been on the forefront of making the university more affordable. This is very much in contrast to other Big Ten universities who have seen quite significant tuition rises during this same time. Um, and Mitch Daniels has surprised a lot of people. Uh, when Mitch Daniels was governor and after he left the governor's mansion, most people did not believe that the Indiana politician that would go on to a higher office of, say, president or vice president would be the person who replaced him as governor, Mike Pence. Most people thought it would be Mitch Daniels, and Mitch Daniels was seen as that because he was more of a Chamber of Commerce Republican, someone that didn't focus on the social issues. He's very conservative on social issues, but he didn't make those the heavy central focus like a Governor Mike Pence did, and eventually a Vice President Pence. But he decided that he did not want to put his family through the rigors of running for president. So he decided against running in 2012 and said, I'm very happy being the president of Purdue University. This is a very fulfilling experience, and decided against running in 2016. A very noble person. As with any politician, he has his detractors who point out some of the failures in their eyes that he had. They point to the fact that the standard of living in the state of Indiana while he was governor went down quite significantly, and the amount of Indianans living in poverty went up as well. They also criticize some of his stances that he took against public sector unions and support of school vouchers. But overall, he has a pretty solid record of working across party lines and really being an advocate for the institution in which he works. Deaths that occurred on this day. Mike Wallace died in 2012 at the age of 93. Mike Wallace is obviously most known for being the longtime correspondent for CBS News and one of the original 60 Minutes anchors. And he is known for interviewing everyone. He interviewed Ayatollah Khomeini. He interviewed Fidel Castro, many U.S. presidents. And for a long time, the most feared words in America were, Mike Wallace is here. Because Mike Wallace was very... he didn't take kindly to people dodging his questions and asked very direct and matter-of-fact questions, and really revolutionized how TV journalists interview people. On the personal side, he is also the father of current Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace. And his son has followed in his footsteps, developing a reputation of asking very matter-of-fact and direct questions. Often people credit Chris Wallace with being a very non-biased journalist at Fox News. While they may criticize some of the opinion hosts there, he often receives high marks from even the most ardent of Fox News's detractors. So, Mike Wallace built a legacy of journalism himself and passed it on to his son. And He passed away on this day in 2012 at the age of 93. And that's all for today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.